Marc Marquez has 9 world titles. He needs one more to be the most decorated Grand Prix motorcycle racer in history. He came to Ducati specifically to make that 10th title happen, on the best machine in MotoGP, with the best engineers, at the peak of a dynasty that had won everything for 4 consecutive years. And after round 1, 9 points, a destroyed rear wheel, a team boss publicly admitting his factory took 4 slaps in the face from Aprilia, the question nobody wanted to ask in January is already being asked out loud. What if Ducati is no longer the best machine in MotoGP? What if Thailand wasn't just a bad weekend? What if the coronation just became the hardest race of Marquez's career? And, the most important, if you're serious about MotoGP, hit subscribe. We cover every race, every controversy, and every championship swing faster than anyone else. Start with what actually happened to Ducati in Thailand, because the results column tells only part of the story. Marc Marquez retired with a rear wheel failure. Francesco Bagnaia qualified from Q1, unable to make it out of the first qualifying session on merit, a humiliation for a 2-time world champion on a factory machine, and finished 9th, half a second per lap slower, through corners where he had set the outright lap record 2 years earlier. Alex Marquez crashed out and left Thailand without a single point. Fabio Di Giannantonio, in 6th place for the VR46 satellite team, ended up as the best-placed Ducati rider on the entire grid. Tardozzi acknowledged what the data was already making undeniable. All Ducati riders suffered from the change in conditions compared to the tests. The track changed. The humidity was different too. Something changed, and the performance of all Ducati bikes dropped a little. The team that has spent 4 years solving every problem the sport threw at them arrived at the circuit where they had tested for days in pre-season and found a motorcycle they did not fully recognise. Not one rider, not one bike, all of them. "We need to understand why it happened," Tardozzi said. That sentence, from the team that usually has answers before anyone else knows there is a question, is the most significant thing Ducati said all weekend. While Ducati were trying to understand their own bike, Aprilia were executing a race plan with a precision that made the gap look structural rather than circumstantial. Bezzecchi led from first lap to last. He won by 5.5 seconds. He managed the Michelin rear tyre in the same 40-degree heat that was destroying Ducati's grip, managing it with what he described as total control, never under threat, never scrambling. Behind him, Raul Fernandez took 3rd for Trackhouse, Jorge Martin 4th, Ayogura 5th, 4 Aprilia-powered bikes in the top 5, the most complete factory result in Aprilia's MotoGP history. And Tardozzi was honest enough to point out that this is not a Thailand-specific story. "I think it's been that way since the middle of last year," he said of Bezzecchi's form. "Let's remember that Marc had an accident, but in previous races he always struggled to beat him." Marquez was the reigning world champion in the second half of 2025, building toward the Indonesian crash that ended his season. And he was already struggling to beat Bezzecchi consistently. The slaps in Thailand did not come from nowhere. They came from a trajectory Ducati had been watching in their mirrors for months and choosing to believe would not materialise into something like this. The competitive picture it creates for the rest of 2026 is the part that matters beyond the round 1 result. Tardozzi named his reference circuits with the confidence of a man who believes the natural order will reassert itself. Austin, Qatar, Jerez. The tracks where Ducati's traditional strengths, hard braking, high-speed corner commitment, mechanical grip in cooler and drier conditions, should expose Buriram as the outlier rather than the trend. His argument is that the combination of extreme heat, shifting humidity between testing and race weekend, and Buriram's specific curb profiles created conditions that punished the GP26's rear management in a way most other circuits will not replicate. that argument may well be correct. Ducati have diagnosed mid-season problems before and solved them faster than any team in the paddock. But the caveat buried in Tardozzi's own explanation is the one that should concern Ducati most. He admitted the team still does not fully understand why every single GP26 on the grid suffered simultaneously. Not one bike, not one rider, all of them. You cannot project confidence in your diagnosis when the root cause remains unconfirmed. And Aprilia, who left Thailand knowing exactly why their bike worked, are not waiting around. If you're finding this breakdown useful, hit subscribe. It helps more MotoGP fans find the channel. For Marc Marquez, the championship picture after round 1 is already more complicated than anyone in the Ducati garage expected it to be. 9 points. That is what Thailand delivered. 9 points from a race he was running 4th in with 4 laps remaining before the wheel gave way. Pedro Acosta has 32 and leads the standings. The gap is 23 points after 1 round of 22, mathematically trivial at this stage of a season, psychologically significant given how it happened. Not beaten by a rival, but stopped by his own machinery before the finish line, because the story of 2026 was supposed to be about whether Marquez could add a 10th world title to the 9 he already has. About a coronation, about a record, about the final chapter of the greatest career in modern Grand Prix racing. Thailand turned it into a fight. Not a desperate one, not a crisis, but a genuine fight against an Aprilia that is capable of winning races, on a Ducati that does not yet understand why it underperformed, with a championship leader in Acosta, who is aggressive enough to take every available point and disciplined enough to manage a race when the moment requires it. Tardozzi said, Austin, Qatar and Jerez will reveal the truth. He may be right. But round 2 in Brazil is coming first. A brand new circuit where nobody has data, nobody has history, and the competitive order will be determined in real time. For Ducati, that is both a threat and an opportunity. And after Thailand, they need the opportunity more urgently than they have needed anything in 4 years. Was Thailand a one-off for Ducati, or the start of something serious? Is Bezzecchi's Aprilia now the real title threat? Can Marquez recover 23 points over 21 remaining rounds? And does the wheel failure change how you see his championship chances? And what does Tardozzi naming Austin, Qatar and Jerez tell you about where Ducati believe their real strengths are? Leave your answers in the comments below. And if this breakdown did it for you, hit the like button and subscribe for more MotoGP content.